how high is his ceiling as a receiver? Give me a comp. Give me a potential comp.
I don't know about a comp.
For somebody else in the league.
He's a smaller wide receiver that's a speed guy. I don't think he's an every down wide receiver. I think he's a guy that you're going to see the best of him when you put him in the role that we saw Sean put him in this year. Do a little bit of everything with him. Throw him the screens, hand him the jet sweeps, take a couple shots with him down the football field. A guy that you're going to have offensively 15 plays a game, maybe 20. And that's his role. I don't see him being a 50-play game wide receiver. But he did, to Sean's point, he did take a big jump this year in just being a wide receiver. And so he was actually better than I thought he would be. I can't wait to watch him in training camp to see what it looks like. But in Sean's offense, the way that he rotates guys, and if you're going to have Courtland Sutton, I just see this guy being more of a role player than a every down wide receiver.
So this year, he had 39 catches, 500 yards, 6 touchdowns. Do you see him ever being a 75-catch, 1,000-yard guy?
Good question. A much better question, Mike.
I thought both questions were good.
No, this one was much better.
Okay.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't see him being that type of receiver.
Okay.
I see him more being a great returner and a jack-of-all-trades, Swiss Army knife type of wide receiver, slot guy, running back, that type of football player offensively.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, and, you like Courtland Sutton, but you look at Courtland Sutton as kind of a really good number 2 receiver, right? Number 1 on this team, but more of a classic number 2, right?
Top tier 2, middle of the road.
Middle of the road 1? Okay.
But he was really good for us.
Okay. But you don't see special out there with these receivers, which is why
exactly
you want to add to this group with somebody significant, whether it's through the trade or whether it's through free agency. Sean also had this to say. It was kind of right at the beginning of the interview, and Kay Adams asked him, sort of like, how does he feel about where this thing is going? Here's what he said right at the beginning. It's just a couple of seconds, so listen closely to it. But I think this was awesome.
Listen, we're going to be a problem.
We're going to be a problem.
Oh, wow.
We are an emerging beast. We are a powder keg, ready to be lit. We are going to be a problem for the rest of the NFL. I love that. How do you feel about it? Mr. Anxiety, Mr. who was always walking out onto the field just, nervous about what was going to happen. How do you feel about that kind of
Listen, we're going to be a problem.
How do you feel about that bravado?
At my radio, Stokley loves it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun to talk about, fun to listen to. Fan Stokley loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Like voodoo, karma, football player, Stokley. Yeah, let's not tempt fate.
Right.
Kind of, right? He
Don't
talked
mess
about
with the football gods type thing?
Yes,
yeah,
he talked about injuries and how, they kind of got it figured out. And I'm like, no. Because once you start talking about it, like pounding your chest, hey, just buckle up. Then something bad happens, right? I don't like to put that out in the universe. Okay, so I unlike your other partner, I take a very humble approach to things, okay? Unlike your former partner.
Don't let my confidence offend your insecurity.
That's an all-time line right there, by the way, by Mark. So I just like to lay in the weeds, low-key. Let's not, throw this out there. Let's not pump ourselves up. Let other people do that.
Right.
But Sean takes that different approach sometimes. Sometimes he takes that different approach. And like I said, radio, me, I love it. But just don't tempt fate.
Okay.
So do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you think great line. Yeah, I mean, are you inviting some gree-gree?
Right, but you're down there in New Orleans.
You're in New Orleans.
Let's not tempt that.
You got fortune tellers and all that stuff walking around. Don't mess with the gree-gree.
No gree-gree.
No gree-gree. That's French Cajun, by the way, for a curse.
Yeah. And we don't want that over here. Sean bringing that back over here.
All right.
But so no part of you as a
No, because I think that for this franchise, and I get the sense that the Sean that we sometimes hear publicly with this kind of bravado is the guy who behind the scenes around his team is talking like that. And for a team that has been down and out, an organization that's been down and out for as long as it has, I like the idea that the message is, why not us? Here, we're coming. I mean, it's worked for Deion. Like, Deion, we coming. Everyone seems to love that. Nobody seems to have a problem with Deion's bravado.
Believe?
I mean, some people have a problem with, but
You don't believe?
I think Buff fans love Deion's bravado. They love the idea that our program, which was a laughingstock just a couple years ago, hey, we got a guy that's out front. He's got his chest puffed out. He's got some swagger. And you know what? It feels good to have somebody in the black and gold that's talking like this after we've been a joke for so long. Well, the Broncos haven't been that much of a joke, but they've been irrelevant. And to have your guy coming out and saying some things like this, what's wrong with that?
But isn't it a little bit different in college? Because
you're still kind of tempting
because
fate,
you're
aren't
kind
you?
You are, but but you can go out there and recruit guys and get portal guys, and that's part of your sell to them is the attention that you get because you're saying these types of things. So I think it's a little bit different in college, but I don't know. Sean, he's. Look, he said it, and I didn't really like it. Again, it was the same feeling I have on this one. He said, hey, next time I win 6 games will be the first time I win 6 games. Well, guess what? They won 10.
Yeah.
Right? They went out and won 10, made it to the playoffs. So, called out the Jets, and I know they lost to the Jets the first time, but then, last year they smacked the Jets around.
Right. Well, I didn't smack them around, but beat them. And let's just face it, the Broncos are in a much better situation right now moving forward than the Jets are.
Exactly.
So
I think he's a bum.
So, all right. I mean, Sean seems to have this thing figured out. He's not scared. He's not scared to put the bullseye on the Broncos, on himself. He's not scared.
Listen, we're going to be a problem.
what's trending coming up next?